All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. Before we get into the conversation in terms of how the elections were carried out, and this is an allegation made by Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria, there's something that Obiyo Wandai said before we took a break on the Mwaluwale, and he said that we're talking about weaponizing the DCI and KRA, and he said that they wouldn't come for you if there's nothing to come for. Do you agree with that statement?
Then he doesn't understand what weaponizing means. They don't come because they have found anything wrong. They come to intimidate you. So because he is politically correct, they will not visit his kiosk. But if you are politically incorrect under this system of Majambazi, then they just come for you. That is the reason. Don't be surprised that what you do not know about some people is not necessarily what is taking place. It's only last week I was battling in court myself because an arrest warrant had been issued for me. Reason? 2016, I was charged with the offense of participating in a riot during our good old days of Tear Gas Monday. So those things which you and I did, they are not pursuing you, but they are pursuing me, since I'm not politically correct. I was wondering aloud when I was seated as I fought the matter last week, that why am I not seeing a similar arrest warrant for my then captain, Raila Odinga? Because for every day that we went in those riots, Raila was always there, and Kalonzo was always there. They are conspicuously missing in this endless game of persecution. But those of us who believe in something, we have refused to bow. We have refused to succumb to the intimidation, because it is not about us, Wandai. It is about the holoi polloi.
So you were in court because of the riots that happened in 2016?
Yes, for real. And we are all shocked.
So you're out on bond now. What happened? How did that case go?
Don't ask me.
You must have done something beyond the demonstration. With
professionals like Tom here, you always maneuver. And it is not a laughing matter. The matter is live.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's
so it's purely a question of intimidating us.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Prof,
going on.
If that is true what he's saying, isn't it then...
It is true, not if.
Yeah. Isn't it then a point that it is being weaponized? Because it's true that Tear Gas Mondays, quite a number of them were there, including Wandai himself. Yeah.
I've always argued, Trevor, that whenever an injustice is meted out against anyone, whenever there's a violation, I think it is incorrect. It is a violation whether it is meted against a person or individual on the side of government or against government. I don't think that, because rights are rights, and the law should apply equally to everyone. Because one time you could be this side, one the other side. But I always say that the solution is, and that is why the judiciary stands in the middle of warring sides all time, whether you are in government on one side, in the opposition on the other time. Honorable Wandai has had to pay the highest price. He was locked out of parliament for many months. He was saved by the courts, the same courts. So I think that...
Remind him.
Courts stand in the midst of all of us. And I always say that whichever side you are, as an advocate, I would always defend you because I believe that it's about violations, and every individual is entitled to the protection of the law. All the time.
All right.
Trevor.
Okay. There's another elephant in the room that we need to address, rigging of elections. In fact, this was something that was brought up by Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria. This is what he had to say.
Kuna wengine wanasema ati kura ya mlima itagawanywa. Mheshimiwa Anne Waiguru, Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua, Mheshimiwa Ishung'wa, Mheshimiwa Gavana Muthomi Njuki, Mheshimiwa Senator Linturi, Mheshimiwa Wamatangi. Mheshimiwa wa Maua, Mheshimiwa Alice Wahome, Mheshimiwa Faith Getau. Sisi ndio tulikuwa tunashidia Uhuru kura na sisi ndio tulikuwa tunamwibia kura. Akili yote iliweka Uhuru kwa kiti iko hapa. Ile iko Azimio ni mwili peke yake.
Kagusha, start us off on that one.
Yeah, clearly, what Moses Kuria is doing is responding to something that was said by Sabina Chege. Because what happened is that when it was clear that Azimio is not going to be winning and that they are not getting the votes, Sabina Chege sought to kind of try and reassure or lie or cheat the Azimio supporters that you can even steal these votes. In fact, she tried to make an impression like they had stolen before and that they would do it this time around to help Azimio get to get power. That we know is untrue. And we know very well that Sabina Chege never meant that. In fact, she never meant that they actually stole. She actually was trying to create an impression to give false hope to the Azimio supporters that something, you know, they have been told that with the system and with the deep state, you're going to be winning. And I remember one person yesterday mentioned that when they were talking with the Azimio principal, and he was asked that you have been losing all this time, what makes you think this time round you're going to get? He said, because we have the system with us. And of course, if you look at what has happened is that the UDA party now seems to be having the people, and Azimio party is now having or coalition is now having the system. But now, what Moses Kuria said, if I was to interpret this one in context, is that allegation of even stealing that is being given out there by some of the people who are supporting the Azimio, even that aspect, don't even think it is there. The brains behind the Jubilee win and the Uhuru win in 2013 and 2017 is no longer out there. It is inside here. And as you can see, every other person from Mount Kenya region, every other leader that probably you can count on has trooped back into UDA. And Mount Kenya is going to be voting as one. And of course, you know, one of the billing that has been done is that you get 20% of Mount Kenya or 30% of Mount Kenya, then Raila wins. But now you can see that 30% and 20% is not going to be there because Mount Kenya is going to be voting as one. And clearly, the issue of perception, trying to create a perception that like could be there could be a shortcut into getting to power is one of the things that the politicians have been doing. Now, I think it's something that we still need to discourage. The issue of using the perception of theft and stealing of votes by politicians, whether Sabina Chege or by Moses Kuria, is something that we must refute, is something that we must discourage, is something that we must take very firm action against. And I'm happy that IEBC did take action in the earlier case. And I think we need to discourage that because it discredits the IEBC in the first place. It also discredits the electoral process and kind of creates a sense of hopelessness to the voters who wake up very early in the morning to vote. And at some point, they are kind of told their vote never counted because someone, you know, quote unquote, took their victory or stole the votes. And so I think it's clear in this case that there is really a game of mind. These politicians are trying to play with the minds of the voters.
So you think it's a mind game?
I mean, it's a mind game. And I think what just is required is go and campaign. Win as many people as possible, win as many votes as possible, and just know there is nothing like a system that is going to help you get into power. If there was a system that would help anyone to get into power, in Musambweni, the system would have helped the government candidate to win. That was the ODM candidate. In Juja, the government candidate who was Jubilee candidate, Mrs. Waitito, would have won. In Kiamba, the government candidate who was Jubilee candidate, Karidi Njama, would have won. I mean, there is nothing like a system that is going to be helping anyone to win. You've got to look for votes and win fair and square.
This is a conversation that at some point NASA was reading that same script and said that there was a ploy to rig the elections. Do you agree with what Gatundu South Member of Parliament said?
Let me say this, Trevor. My presidential candidate the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga is somebody I know very well. I've been with him through these journeys, right from the time he ran first in 1997 for presidency on NDP ticket, when I was his youth leader in his party. He, at no single time has Raila Odinga ever believed in rigging elections to win. He has always believed in campaigning, selling his agenda to the people, and getting genuine votes. Consistently, 1997, 2007, 2013, 2017, and now 2022. Secondly, and I'm glad that my friend here, Kagushia, is very optimistic. Secondly, I don't take people like Moses Kuria seriously, if you ask me. You know, Moses Kuria is my junior politically. He joined us halfway at the last parliament, the National Assembly. I've never taken him seriously. What he was trying to do yesterday is simply to carry favor with Ruto, to try to carry favor with Ruto, and to try to project himself and these other fellas as people who have got the capacity to deliver votes of Mount Kenya. And therefore to try to carry himself as people, as a person who helped President Uhuru Kenyatta to win the presidency previously. But the question one would want to ask, if Moses Kuria and the people he mentioned in that rally yesterday were instrumental in making Uhuru Kenyatta president in 2013 and 2017, how comes they're not working to make one of them president now? Because I know each one of them would really want to be president. I can tell you. These are my colleagues. I know them. But the reason why they're not running for president is that they have got no capacity. They know. They have gauged themselves. Yeah. They cannot get any votes. Yes. So that's why they have to cling on to people who are perceived as serious contenders. Okay? So whatever Kuria was saying is mere hubris. It's nothing, really. And it's good to console Ruto and his friends that Mount Kenya is locked. I am not an expert in Mount Kenya politics. I've always said that. I am. Yeah, I doubt if Kagusha is also one. I am. Okay? Because he's still a greenhorn. Yes. Learning the ropes. I've been doing this for 7 years. He needs to be taught a few things. Yeah. I don't buy the argument, yes, that any one single person has the capacity to herd a whole nation or ethnic group into a ballot in one way or the other. So these votes will be cast based on how the voters would have perceived the agenda of the contenders. And we are more than confident that our presidential candidate, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, has got a very progressive agenda, has got a transformative program that the majority of voters are going to buy. And come the election day, they will vote overwhelmingly for him. Okay. Yes.
Prof, what is the legal impact of the statement made by the Gatundu South Member of Parliament on live broadcast television, say we helped steal the election? Essentially just confessing.
Trevor, the statement made by Moses Kuria confirms the irregularities in the 2017 and perhaps the 2018 elections. It also points to the possibility, and if I may, the reality, that the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga may have had more votes than were actually announced. I think it also points to the reality that 2022 is a Raila year, and as Honorable Wandai rightly points out, the die is cast. It is clear that there is no way that Raila Amolo Odinga will lose this year's election if all the forces, including some of the people that he refers to now on the other side, the majority, including a portion of the voters who did not vote for Raila Amolo Odinga in 2017, are now on the side of Azimio. Trevor, when the Azimio agreement was signed on Saturday, and of course you know that the framework under Section 2C of the Political Parties Act allows parties to come into coalitions as individual parties. Azimio la Umoja had 29 parties signing the coalition agreement, compared to 5. You know, yesterday in the UDA family, the Kenya Kwanza family, we only have, I think, 5 political parties, including Tujibebe, I think others are Sipangangwi, and other small parties. And perhaps the only thing I learned clearly was perhaps another meaning of bottoms up. I saw the Honorable, a lot of dancing, you know, bottom-up dancing, a lot of bottom-up, huge dancing in the hall. Perhaps I learned something. But clearly, looking at the majoritarian vote and the intention of the voter, Azimio la Umoja, contrary to what Kagusha says, will definitely capture the voter. I think you saw the opinion polls now. You're already 3 points clear, excluding Kalonzo's vote basket, which is 1.8 million. Remember, in 2017, Uhuru beat Raila by about 1.4 million votes. If you take away 600 or 700 that Moses Kuria says was taken away irregularly, I can tell you, without a measure of doubt, that Raila Odinga is already ahead of His Excellency William Ruto. You can take that to an M-Pesa agent. On 9th of August, he'll be president of this country.
Honorable Alwale, what do you make of the statement that was made by Honorable Moses Kuria in terms of elections rigging, though IBC says that they're ready to give a credible and fair?
The issue of vote stealing in 2017, to me, has been settled authoritatively at 3 levels. The first one is that the due process took place. The matter went to the Supreme Court, and a determination was made, and it's now history. So it was settled. The second one is the political ramification. The first person to speak to it was Sabina. And when she did, IEBC came out and said no. And I think she's in court for the same matter. The deputy president came out and clarified that they won in a fair and a free process. So what I saw Kuria doing, and I want to advise the media to live up to the ethics. Kuria was saying, okay, so Sabina, on that side, if you think Uhuru won through rigging, then the brains that could have done that are no longer there. They're on this side. That was fair comment, as far as I'm concerned. But I'll leave it to the lawyers. I'll leave it to the lawyers to pursue it at the level of the courts and so on. And now to 2 comments by my brother Tom.
Yeah.
Tom, when you say that you had 29 parties that signed the Azimio thing, you amaze me. What matters is not the number of parties. What matters is the number of people a particular party that appends its signature controls. The reason why Kalonzo Musyoka has been troubling Azimio, it is because he's the only partner who would come and sit with ODM to give life to a possible formidable alliance called Azimio. Otherwise, Jubilee, what would have been there in Jubilee is with us in UDA. The other little things like DAP, Kenya, of Eugene Wamalwa, is actually ODM-B. After they found that ODM could not sell in Western Province, they had to gobble something which is practically ODM-B for people to see, for hoping that they would hooding people into thinking that this is a new political party. The second thing, Professor, you've talked about if Raila got those kind of votes, he's therefore automatically going to get the same votes or more, and therefore it's assured of a win. Fair comment. But let me shock you. If you win an election today by 2 votes, and then you contest that election in the hope that because you lost only by 2 votes, you have a higher chance of winning a repeat election. The shocker is always, as they say in English, the test of the boot in the eating. In 2012, I was returned to an election through a court process. I had beaten my opponent by 265 votes only. So when he won the petition and we went for a by-election, I now opened the margin. I beat him by over 4,000 votes. So what you get today in an election, things change immediately at the next or repeat election. So don't bank your money on it. Just roll your sleeves up. You have a good captain. He's experienced. He works hard. Look for votes. We are also looking for votes.
Can't you just move to Azimio? Move to Raila's side.
I know Raila misses some of his former colleagues in NASA. But unfortunately for him, they're all gone.
Okay.
He's only remaining with Orengo.
Okay.
I mean the people who are in the boiler room.
All right.
Speaker.
Yeah.
The people who are in the boiler room, he's only remaining with Orengo.
Okay.
Mudama is gone. It's not there.
Okay.
Khalwale is gone. Miguna is gone. We were the ones in the boiler room. Forget about Akina Pio and I. They're just backroom boys who are taking instructions from us.
I have to respond to that.
Yeah, let him finish.
Yes.
With due respect,
Instantly.
you'll respond.
Yes.
Yeah, my final comment is, Obi, let us restrain ourselves. Maybe because I'm a bit older, I might be allowed to say it. Don't profile colleagues just because you don't like them. The things you are saying about Kuria, that you don't respect him because he's your political junior, I can say the same thing about you.
No? You want my senior?
Can I?
Yes.
Can I?
Go ahead, yeah.
I can say the same thing about you. If Kuria has been in parliament for fewer months than you, how about us, who have been in parliament for more decades than you? So let's just respect people instead of profiling somebody because of the number of years in politics. And by the way, with due respect to you, if you took Apio Andai and he puts on a T-shirt of Azimio and you drop him in Malindi, hapo kwa Pass Park, and then you took Ndindi Nyoro, who is much junior than you in number of years served, and he puts on a UDA T-shirt at Malindi Pass Park, the public will not recognize you. They will recognize Ndindi Nyoro because in that short time, the boy has outperformed you.
Okay.
You know,
Let Opio respond.
Boni Alwale never ceases to amaze me. You know, the public can be attracted by many things rather than positive attributes to an individual. But all the same, I wanted quite an impression he was creating. Boni was creating that him, Mudama, and who else were in the boiler room.
Yeah. And you were boys taking
Nothing can be further from the truth. I think he was misled to believe that he was in some kind of boiler room. Yes, let me say that with certainty, that Boni Halwale was nowhere near where real decisions were being made, where real strategic decisions were being initiated. I'm happy that he still continues to of course, defer to the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. And the reason is simple. Not because he loves him so much. The reason is that his background, his backyard, with Kolomani, is totally Azimio. Is totally Raila. And if he has got doubt, call us back here on the 10th of August.
Okay.
And let us look at the tally of the votes, presidential votes in the Kolomani constituency, where my friend Boni Halwale comes from. Yes. Okay. But I'm happy that he is now, of course, converted into the Tangatanga ideology which you know is a very, very, very negative ideology for this country.
Okay.
Yes.
Kagusha?
Well, I just wanted to allude to the same issue of the 29 political parties. And I'm very sure if you ask the good professor to give us 5 of those 29 political parties, I'm sure he can't remember them. He doesn't even remember that what Bonewalole would refer as ODMC is PA. PA is a political party registered by one of the governors in Mombasa, Governor Kingi, yes, who is our ODM governor. He also has a small outfit, and that one, Professor is also counting it as part of the 29. And indeed, that 29 may not have any political significance in the political landscape whatsoever. Yeah. And I think why the Azimio party or the Azimio coalition actually is not likely to be attracting as much attention as before is because they changed positions. They allowed the UDA and the deputy president to go with the masses. He has now become the advocate for the masses. You know, when Raila used to attract quite a bit of attention from the country and would get a formidable number of votes across the country is when he was with the masses until he was duped into becoming kind of a project for a state machinery. He started losing the traction with the masses. And that is why then the position that he's likely to get the votes he got last time is not likely to be there anymore. Okay. And I think would have, I mean, Raila Odinga, who was much more for the public, would have probably sold much better than Raila Odinga, who seems to have been captured by the same state that we are talking of having captured other agencies of government.
All right.
And I said, and you said you'd come back to this, but I think it's very clear that yesterday when the deputy president was giving his speech, he also sought to kind of explain that the bottom-up approach really is not about, or the economic model is not about the rich versus the poor, as some people had wanted to put it. He clearly put it that it is about empowering the poor. It's coming up with the pro-poor people policy that are going to lift the people who are what Halwale would call the holoi poloi. Yeah. Removing them from the bottom of the pyramid and encouraging them and empowering them to come up to a better level. Okay. Again, another point that also came out clearly yesterday is the propaganda that has been used against the UDA and the Kenya Kwanza, that it is ignoring the Mount Kenya political parties at the expense of other political parties from across the regions. And clearly, you can see that all the political parties, even the ones that are coming from Mount Kenya region, joined at the last minute, and now they are on board. And so everyone is going to be campaigning for UDA, and is going to be campaigning for the deputy president from across the country using whatever means and whatever platforms that they're going to be having. Okay. And these are some of the strong things that, you know, even on the optics that you really need to look at. Okay. And the good thing is, the deputy president mentioned that he has interacted with the common mwananchi for the last 4 years. He has spent his time going to the ridges and the mountains and the hills and the villages to interact with the common mwananchi. He clearly put it that he has been able to learn a lot of things that he may have assumed before. Unfortunately, many leaders don't do that. Okay. They remain in the hotels in Nairobi. They hop from one hotel to another, from one conference to another, never having an opportunity to interact with the common mwananchi. I can tell you for a fact, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya has been to my village, has been to my constituency, Mukurweini constituency, a record 8 times. And in the 8 times that he has been there, we have had a lot of interactions. By the way, I want even to tell you, one time he pushed for a road that had been allocated money from 2016, never done. But when he came in 2018, on the, I think that was 18th or 17th of October, 2018, he was able to put that road back into the budget. That is Gekondi Road. Okay. And now it is being done. Right. So we attribute it to him, and he's coming regularly to the village. Okay. So his interaction with the people has given him the impetus, has given him the ability, has given him the knowledge of what the common Kenyan is suffering from. Okay. And for that reason, when he talks about bottom-up approach or economic model, you can believe him.
All right. We have